could have the people from this part just slide that way a little bit. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests. In 33 days, November the 8th, that will be the day that we conclude the 2016 election cycle. Mr. Toastmaster, friends and guests, I want to talk about some voting election issues. And they're not about who you vote for, but the fact that you're involved. I'm going to talk about getting out the vote. I'm going to talk about supporting issues and candidates, and I'm talking about getting involved. 2016 is on pace to be a record voting year. No wonder we have so much acrimony out there. We have so much discussion. We have so much publicity that I'm guessing for those who can vote on November the 2nd or November the 8th or even those days before, they're going to be there to register it. And the first thing I want to emphasize to everybody who can vote is do vote. But before you do that, make sure that you educate yourself. You got 33 days to read, listen, and ask questions so that when you go to the polls, if you're voting that day, you can make a confident, educated decision. Now, your issue, your candidate, surprisingly, may not win. Sometimes it works out that way. But you have the knowledge of knowing that you participated to the best of your ability and you carried that part of the load. The second thing I want to emphasize is what I would call support. Support are these yard signs. And on November 9th, the yard signs are going to go away. This particular individual came by my house about 3 weeks ago. It's not important whether it was Scott or Carla or Dave. They're on a Sunday afternoon, they're knocking on doors, and they're introducing themselves on a one-on-one basis and asking for your support. Most importantly, they ask you to vote. Secondly, they want you to vote for them. And as this individual walked away, I thought to myself, he needs more than just my vote. He needs my support. So I asked for a yard sign. Pretty innocuous thing. I asked if I could make a political contribution, all legal within specified amounts. And of course he said yes, because we all know that government is not free and running for office is definitely not free. So I felt pretty good about that. I had embraced the political process. But then I got thinking, this third kind of part of the triangle is I ought to be involved. I really ought to be involved. And that's more than putting a yard sign out in front. It's getting behind the candidate, doing some of the heavy lifting. The adage that a hard job is made easier by many hands kind of applies here, but more importantly, it's a question of a lot of heavy lifting. And this is time to get your shovel out and start shoveling. Now, I don't mean in a negative way. Let's do part of the heavy lifting. So, as we talk about this election coming up, and it's going to be a record turnout, you're going to prepare for this by preparing and educating yourself for the vote. In the limited days, think about supporting a candidate in some form and think about how I might get involved. Now, how does all of this apply? A week ago, Amit Ghosh talked about America and its greatness and what you could be and all those things. And part of that is enabled by government. It takes people to do it, but it still takes government, and it takes people to run government. I have a friend, his name is Borg Christensen. And Borg is 88 years old, and he's a Dane. He's an American first. He's been a citizen since 1977, but he is also a Danish citizen. He was born and raised in Denmark. He's traveled the world. He's lived in many, many countries. He is fluent in Danish. Now, he travels to Denmark twice a year, and he'll stay for anywhere from 90 to 120 days. And he'll come back, and he'll come out of immigration, and I'll meet him at the airport. And he'll extend his hand, and he says, "Rick, it's great to see you." "You too, Borg." He'll say, "It's great to be back." "Yeah, it's always great to be home." He says, "That's not what I'm talking about." He says, "It's great to be back in the USA. This is a place that works." Now, Denmark, Scandinavia, is a great area. But they have problems. They have dysfunctionality like everybody else. But when he comes home, he has the sense that this is a place that works. What an incredible statement to make. Now, we have problems. There's no question about it. And we will not solve all of them. In fact, we will not solve a lot of them. But it's better here than it is there. Now, when you vote, when you educate yourself, when you make informed decisions, when you support these efforts, when you get involved, this is a chance for you to do a lot of this heavy lifting that's got to be done. But more important, it's a chance for you to be part of the solution. Hama talked about how on an individual basis that there were opportunities for greatness. When you vote, when you participate, when you support, you are part of the solution. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.